Blam.
Alrighty, and welcome to part 2 of This Week in Jump.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're continuing off with Warden Higuma. We see a little bit of insight into Higuma being young, and we see his follower going through like a picture book, and she's able to find a picture of his father as well as someone who looks like his mother, but it's actually his aunt who kind of taught them about spirits, about the Hell Wardens, and that she actually was a Hell Warden. But he's talking about her in the past tense, because both his mother and his aunt have passed.
And his dad. Pretty much everybody's passed.
Yeah, a lot of people of his lineage have passed. A lot of them have been killed by a very specific demon. The demon that we saw the end of last chapter looks like it was crying from its eyes, which, that's very sad, but wonder what kind of context we have. Oh, we get the context right now. Because this demon looks very tranquil until he deems that Higuma is now powerful enough so that he can take him down and have some fun. He's able to control the copper that is inside of the human body and manipulate it and heat it as needed so that it essentially works as molten metal that he can shoot out. Doesn't hurt him at all, but it immediately chops off the arm of Higuma.
I was not expecting that. But I don't think he was left-handed, so I think he'll be fine.
You could say he was disarmed. There's better ones out there, but it looks like it hurts. And this is what Higuma and the other Hell Wardens do, is chop off the arms. So I think it's very fitting that a demon does that same thing to Higuma. See how you
does
like
it feel?
But this guy is
deranged.
He has 879 years that he's been in hell.
And good luck pronouncing his name, because it's like Shakufutsu
Akagane the Molten. That's a really long name.
Yes, it is. We'll just call him the Molten.
The Molten.
That's a lot easier to say for us Westerners.
The Molten. He's been killing every warden in Higuma's line from generation to generation. He might not be the only one, but he's killed. Never mind. It does say he's killed every Hell Warden in their bloodline. There's most likely other Hell Wardens out there from different families, but his family seems, cursed to deal with this demon every generation.
Yes. We also glossed over Itomi actually appears. We actually see what he looks like.
Oh, yes, from the other side of the telephone.
Yeah. They don't get any direct interaction.
I like his character, and I see that he has... Higuma has the little bowl of fire that acts as his alarm clock, but it looks like...
Roku.
Yes, Roku. Which is...
Not to be confused with the Roku
stick or anything like that. But we do see that at least his contact uses a spiritual eye.
And he was watching the entire fight with the Kitsune.
Yeah. It might have the ability to stay out of harm's way. It could be that it turns invisible. But it's able to move from one place to another.
Yeah. From the picture they show, it's almost like it's a satellite, almost.
Yeah.
It kind of just orbits and just watches.
But it's really neat. And I hope we get to see a little bit more of their character and of some other clans. Because right now, it does not look good for Higuma. Higuma needs help right now.
How old is he supposed to be? Because he looks very, very young here, and then he's like, "I'll see you in 6 years." At the beginning of the chapter, Haguma is
He
being
might
told
be
that by
like
Molten.
8.
There, so he's like 14.
Yeah, I would say he's about 14. Not yet into high school, but for the Western audience, because you enter in at 15 here.
Yeah, depending on like
Yeah,
your
depending on your birthday.
Yeah.
So he doesn't seem that he's there just yet. But the Molten wants him dead. He wants to have fun, and he's just...
I'll let you come and take your vengeance, but that's really just like antagonizing him to fight.
That's just so that Higuma tries his best to kill him.
Yes.
Because he doesn't... If he wanted him dead, he would have just not shown himself in front of him. He would have done a surprise attack and got rid of him there.
Yeah.
He let him see his first attack, and what was he able to do? He was able to chop off an arm.
Not looking too good for him in the fight.
Oh no.
Coming up next.
Dr. Stone.
I'm gonna say I'm a little bit surprised.
Really? Dr. Stone, not a lot happened on this chapter. It has a beautiful color art, but I don't really think the cover page really does anything for what's going on right now. It might be some foreshadowing, but right now, nothing really happened. They did get a asphalt road, and they're able to just pour it out, smooth it out, pound it down so that it can withstand, a sizable amount of weight. And the Steam Gorilla 2.0 is able to just blaze through there.
Mm-hmm. All the way to the shoreline.
Yeah, there's a lot of progress being made for the transportation of materials, but we hit a snag in the road. Kisaki, the craftsman,
Or Kaseki, sorry.
he's finally able to say, I can't do this. I'm not able to build really what you want. It's too impossible. Nothing's reaching as far as it should. The trees aren't long enough. The timber's not
And it keeps
expanding.
bowing.
It's not the proper material for making a boat like this. And he's getting defeated. We saw this side of him very early on. But once he got a schematic, once he got some blueprints, that's when he would strip all his clothes and be invigorated to work again.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sad right now. He usually
He feels like he failed.
is given this sense of, oh, I know you can do it. But he doesn't get that this time. So even Senku gives up, like, we're going to have to scrap this.
And make a small boat.
Make a small boat, which is counter to what they want to do.
Ryusei was the most upset about that, though.
Yeah.
Because he wanted his ship.
Yeah. For a very long time, we are seeing in his flashback, he's been wanting these kinds of boats and these kinds of things for a very long time. He doesn't like to give up. He doesn't want to give up. Even if it takes a long time, even if it takes a lot of effort, it's going to get done. Ryusei is
Persistent.
persistent. He might be a little weird and eccentric, but he knows what he wants, and he will try to get at it by any means necessary. And right now, what's his solution? Is I have an idea for a smaller scale boat that you can go based off of a miniature that I have made before, or that I can make again now.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a little bit of time and materials, that I can make you something that you can scale up from there.
Yep.
And
I thought that was cool.
This is the leader role that Senku's trying to drive him in, and I think it's working.
Well, yeah, because it's clear that Senku's whole purpose for saying that, like, we'll give up on this was to drive him to want to actually be able to do the impossible.
Yeah. And they immediately start working on it, and I like that. I might have said it before, but I like that Ryusuke's his hands are the part that got petrified and kind of have the scarring on it because he loves to snap his fingers a
Yeah.
lot and emphasize his hands. Because for Senku, it's very clear on his eyebrows, but without knowing that, those aren't just his eyebrows. That's his scarring from being petrified. I think really it accentuates each of these characters being a little bit more unique, having their own kind of birthmarks that defines them for their previous selves several tens of thousands of years ago.
Oh yeah, going back to earlier when we were getting shown the flashback, we actually see like how long Francois has been uh, there by Ryusei,
Yeah,
going through everything, and even when she was asked by his father and the other guests that were there at their house, why isn't he learning to give up? Why is he being so debaucherous with everything that he gets and he does? Is because he isn't being self-indulgent. He doesn't give up on what he wants.
yeah. What he wants, he strives for, and he'll work for it. He doesn't want it handed to him. He doesn't want. He'll get help if he needs it, and he'll ask for it. But most of it he wants to do himself. He wants to see how far he can go, and that desire, that drive, is really what Francois really admires about him. I don't think very much from a romantic perspective.
No, but
just
she definitely
a
admires
professional.
him.
Yes, she definitely looks at him as someone with respect, someone that she could give respect and holds in high regard.
Very much so.
Okay. Next, we have Chainsaw Man.
Alrighty.
We have Denji, Aki, Power, and Aki's cohorts, all heading towards this hotel, and right off the bat, we get a little bit of the chemistry between these groups. Um, Denji and
Power.
Power don't care about Aki and manners and giving them respect. What does he do? He bribes them with gum. He bribes them with food, and not even like it's gum.
This is gum.
And immediately changes their tone. And yep, we're going to listen to you. We're going to give you manners while we're out here.
Mm-hmm.
But they also know they're intelligent enough to where, oh right, we're supposed to be
Working.
working. The Aki really knows these guys, but he, with the kind of serious kind of humor, and with bribing them with gum, also fighting with them because of the prank this morning. He gets mad. He gets genuinely mad at them, and it's not a prank. I'm going to effing kill you. That's that's going above and beyond. I really want to know what that prank was, but it's even funnier not knowing what it is.
Just his reaction is it's a good reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have we need some kind of incentive for Denji and Power and maybe some other people to work harder. So one of Aki's companions, it looks like an older
Himino.
agent, Himino,
Mm-hmm.
is offering a kiss on the cheek.
And for like a brief second, Denji was interested.
Yeah, but then he remembers he has gone further, and he tries to be an adult here, and say it doesn't matter if it's a kiss on the cheek, if it's not someone you really know or you really like, it's not going to mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
But she tries to break that off, and
A kiss with tongue.
a kiss with tongue, getting really close to him, speaking in uh, his ear, and he gives off, his genuine kind of aloofness with his face. It's hilarious on
It
that panel.
discussed Arai.
Arai, and that's just a perfect 3 panels. You don't need words to describe what's going on.
But it does motivate him too to start competing with Denji.
Yeah.
Just rushing down the hallway, the corridor.
Yeah, where they shouldn't be rushing because they at least know a piece of a gun devil is here because it's pulling the other piece closer to it.
Mm-hmm.
If even Denji asks, "Oh, what if the gun devil's actually here?"
Yeah.
Like, Aki puts that down immediately. The pull on this would be so much higher that that we would be able to tell. Maybe seeing that if they were in that close of proximity, it might just pull Aki in his entirety towards it.
True.
We see Aki talk with Himino, and
We get a little flashback.
we get more flashbacks for a different series, but this one really drives it into the character. We just have a cemetery where Himino is being introduced to Aki, like, this is going to be your new subordinate. Like, okay, are you useful? Think so, maybe.
Yeah, and Himino just tells him not to die. Don't die.
Yeah, they died because they were useless. So don't be useless. Because if you're useful, you're most likely not going to die. Other people are going to want you to live. Whereas if you're useless, if you can't contribute, no one will want to save you. I think there's an underlying tones there where people who are needed, people who have an influence, can be useful, will be helped. You see that in a lot of politicians, a lot of people in higher powers for CEOs.
Oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That kind of mentality.
Kind of like they have bodyguards, like.
Oh. Okay.
And some of them are not even like really paid. It's just more of an entourage where, yeah, we will dive in for a bullet for this person because they are important.
I am curious as to if Himino, because she's like, it's coming, and then her eye patch looks like it's glowing. I don't know if that's just a printing error with the page.
She does have like her black hair. It could be misconstrued as.
I don't know. It looks like it's glowing. Like, I don't know if her eye is actually gone.
It might have. I think we talked about this where you could have part of yourself as a demon, power,
Yeah,
taking over like that body. She has horns. Like, you can't hide that. You can't really get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she says it's coming, we have something that made me put this much further up. We don't know what this is. We just know it's a head that is moving with a foot and a hand.
Yeah, that was a.
That's a picture I never thought I'd see in my life. And because of that fact alone, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Alrighty, going straight off from there, we have My Hero Academia.
Ooh.
My Hero, we have. Technically, this is a flashback going for the League of Villains.
My Villain Academia is even the title of the chapter.
We're getting with everyone but Kurogiri.
The teleporter.
Yeah. And I actually get some.
You get an answer.
I get an answer on why he's not there. A little bit on that later, but we see the League of Villains attacking a cult that goes against mutant type quirks, where it's people who look a little bit more like mutants, akin to
genetic abnormalities, kind of.
Yes,
That and like anybody who has like scales.
the octopus from the Froppy arc, the squids looking villains, obviously part of that as well, because they just look so much different that people automatically put them off as villains, as lesser people,
Mm-hmm.
and this cult is firmly against them. So the League of Villains do, they beat them all up, and they're going to try to sell some of their stuff.
Well, it looks like they just flat out killed them. There's blood on the walls. I think they're pretty much dead.
Maybe, which they might be okay. It might be okay for them being all dead, but this is another step forward for the League of Villains doing villainous things. They killed Full Throttle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is. But before that, I don't remember them doing something like this.
Oh, going out of their way and attacking
Attacking people and
organizations.
killing. Like, the Nomus were causing a lot of destruction and were, hurting people. Maybe some people were killed.
They didn't go after an organization specifically, no.
Yeah, they were just creating chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, they're very much.
Targeting specific things.
Yeah, and,
They're trying to get money out of them, it looks like.
yeah.
Because they even mention it that it's not very profitable.
Yeah.
And their gear is breaking.
Yeah, Toga's syringe is broken. Their clothes is really. They're wearing the same clothes because they really only have
One pair of clothes.
One pair of clothes. Twice is helping Toga clean up her clothes.
But Spinner is most definitely antsy. He wants to do more.
He wants to do more rather than living, kind of like bums right now.
Yeah.
And he followed Stain. Like he wants a righteous way against the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not against the League of Villains.
No.
He still desires, like, show me that you're righteous. Show me that you're going to go against the debauchery that I and others have faced. Like, show me where you're actually making some change.
Dobby comes back.
Dobby comes back with kind of chastising them, like, are you actually getting anything done? But
We do have the flashback of Shigaraki remembering before Kurogiri was captured, he was actually going to go find this secret hidden power that was left over.
yeah, from All for One,
Yes.
which ends up finding them. Which it looks like this is a creature / construct that holds a recorder or radio on his neck, like a necklace, where he places it down very carefully because he is about to go on a rampage. Because this is supposed to be an ally, this is supposed to be kind of like a secret weapon for the League of Villains from All for One. But he says he needs to test them first. They were not expecting that.
No, Shigaraki definitely wasn't. You can tell by his expression.
Yeah. Him saying, huh? Like, what are you talking about? Then just, they're fighting, and
They get bodied.
They get bodied. This creature from All for One, or maybe this person with
Rock. I just called him Rockman.
Okay. He's crying because he was expecting so much more from them, and he's still fighting them. And going back to the previous chapter, this is essentially where we left off, where they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, this is still a couple of months back.
Yeah, so even this is still...
the chapter.
Yes.
And we have the radio,
Yeah, it's apparently the doctor.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll see. We'll see where that leads. It's pretty interesting. We have the villain side growing, so it's not out of nowhere. But we see some inner turmoil in their ranks. I don't think there will be any real betrayal by Spinner or Toga or Twice. But I think some things are going to change soon for the League of Villains. It has to, or else they will become irrelevant.
Yeah, because, I mean, they were just scrounging around like bums, not really doing anything.
Yeah. And you know who's not scrounging around like bums? Who actually has money? This hero support creating monopoly. And the Destro kind of clan.
Yeah, that whole like organization.
Yeah.
That sprung up after him.
Yeah.
The organization of Destro, I guess you could say.
League of Villains might be out the door, and Destro might be in.
Well, if this is like supposed to be like a month and a half back or something like that, then there's still the potential that they come back into the main limelight with this. I felt seeing what they were doing was actually kind of neat because we haven't seen that in a while.
Alrighty. Next, we have Haikyuu.
All right.
Haikyuu, it's very hard to criticize Haikyuu when it's just very fast. There's a lot of very cool shots. Some shots it looks like I have seen before, but that
It's volleyball. How much more variety can you truly get out of it?
Exactly. So you really have to go into the psychological and the strategy of the game.
Yes.
Where how you position people, how you get your timing for blocking shots, for setting up spikes, and for doing the team attack.
Payoffs.
Yeah. Everything pays off in the end with practice. It's not guessing. It's not anticipating. This is
Practice and application.
practice and application, and that's what's going on here. And man, it's good. They get a couple consecutive points for the Hinata team,
Karasuno.
Karasuno, and they do fairly well. Even the other little giant gets stopped.
He gets stopped by Sugi, and it was great.
Yeah.
That last part, that was great. He has the perfect setup. You see him jump. They show him almost flying into the air with how high he's jumping, just to have it blocked.
Yeah.
And not only blocked, but they get the block point out of it.
Yeah. They have experience with short people jumping up and how much lead time that they need to really get the most out of their jump. So with that experience of having Hinata on their team, they know how to block it. And he's annoyed. The little giant is annoyed. But the real little giant, the former,
I keep calling him the OG.
the OG, he's still so interested. He's so happy. And
he's super invested.
yeah. I want him to be able to give Hinata something. Either it's like a fist bump or like a high five. Or maybe even like, hey, I kind of want to get into things. Is it alright if I like practice with you every now and again? But, like, and maybe teach Hinata like some more pointers, maybe. Because he pointed out that Hinata's serve is very normal looking.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he might teach him his serve, a special serve later on. If he's to be a more recurring character. I'm having high hopes, especially since they keep cutting back to him.
Oh, that he's going to be a more relevant part of the story.
Yeah, but that's in the future. For now, kind of middle of the road kind of chapter.
I thought it was pretty good too. I did like it. To be continued in part 3.